What's up guys, cycling fanatics. Saturday morning, we are in Groningen. This is the far northeasterly side of the country. Uithuizermeerden. We're gonna be racing the Ronde van Groningen today. 175 kilometers. It is super windy. You saw my last video about the bike setup. Today it's gonna be chaos. Wind force 7 from the east. So it's gonna be a hard race. We just met up with the team, changed to the cycling kit. We're gonna get the bike out of the car and then go to the start. Expectation of today is gonna break up into pieces. We think it's gonna be all small groups. We'll just try to make it to the finish and get there without spilling too much energy. Nou, ik heb een 1123, die vind ik wel fijn, maar geef niet. After some advice of the more experienced guys around here, I'm gonna change my rear wheel to the very low profile as well, just to be a little bit safer with that super strong wind today, because it's crazy. There's wind gusts of 80 to 90 kilometers an hour, so we'll see. Doing a few laps around the start-finish area to warm up. Well, actually to stay warm or to not cool down too much. It's around freezing and it's super windy, so the sensible temperature is around -15 Celsius. First part of the race is going to be with a tailwind, and then when we turn around, everything is going to break apart. So the thing of today is going to be make sure we're with the first group or the second group, at least a bit in the front when it breaks. There's a couple continental teams, like these guys from Maytech right in front of me. Professional business going on here. We're in the warm-up. Right now a little bit of headwind. I'm doing 17 kilometers an hour. This is insane. Crazy. 10 minutes to the start of the race. Everybody's wearing jackets. Just before we go, everybody takes off the jacket and then it's on. Alright, this is the start of the race. On the bottom, on the left, you'll see the speed, cadence, the distance in the race, my heartbeat and the power. Left top you can see the time into the race, and in the right you can see the track layout. This was a 175 kilometer race. As I skip through the footage, you'll be able to see where I am in the track layout at the top right, so pay attention. You can also grab my STRAVA file in the description if you want to keep track of where we are. The brutal conditions in this race were, I underestimated them. We had a very strong wind this day, and it was an easterly wind. So the first, I don't know, 40-50 kilometers into this race were all in a tailwind. This was the neutralized part of the race. I'm pretty much behind the whole peloton and I thought it was alright. As I said, I underestimated it, and you'll see why this was a big mistake. So 5 kilometers, that was the neutralized part of the race. As soon as the flag dropped, the pace shot up like crazy, and I mean it was really fast. And because it's a tailwind, there's no hiding. There's not a big draft coming from somebody riding in front of you when you are behind them with a tailwind. So the speed is going up. We're doing 50 right now. It was between 50 and 60 the whole time. And as soon as we turned 90 degrees to the right, that meant a crosswind. So right here we have a crosswind, and there's a small gap. Here's a teammate of me. He was in his first race. He had a hard time to keep up, and there's a gap, and actually the whole peloton was spread out a long way, and because I was all the way in the back, I was going like crazy to jump up to the next and to the next and to the next group. I realized I made a big mistake pretty much in the first 10 minutes of this race, and it would cost me so much trouble, so much power and effort to get back, and that's what you're gonna see right now. Right here I'm hanging on to this group, but you can see the guys in front and the gap is not getting smaller, so the pace is super high. Everybody is in a long line. So right here
I'm in the echelon with these guys, but as I pull, I just see that the pace is not high enough and I can easily jump to the next group, which these guys are not going fast enough. I see a teammate, I shouted at him, yo, follow me. I don't think he did that. And here I'm just zigzagging through these riders which are behind the group, and I'm just trying to get back to the front because I realized, like, whoops, I made a mistake and I need to get back there. I need to get back to the front because if I'm gonna stay with these riders, the race would be over really quick. So it took me a while until I get back into this group, which was sort of a peloton, but I think ahead of this group was already split up into more pieces. So only 17 minutes into the race, 11 kilometers, of which 5 kilometers was neutralized, and I already put in a big effort to actually get back to the group. And again, there's a group, somebody lets a little gap, and it's just really a case of staying with the group, because if you let a little gap fall between you and the rest, it might be over really soon. That's what I really underestimate in this race, and I started realizing it more and more every minute I was in this race, that when you're not with the echelon, or you're not with the group, it's a matter of time and you're gonna blow up and you get dropped. Right here we have a straight crosswind. Look at these guys and myself, how we're in an angle. It feels like we're riding horizontal. It was crazy. We're leaning into this wind. The wind is coming from the right. We're pushing maximum. I'm pushing 500 watts and only going 35 kilometers an hour. This was crazy. And yes, I'm in the wind, but for me it was just the most important thing was to get my position back, not to be drafting behind other people. Right here I can take a little break, just draft a little bit behind this group. I could catch a little breath, but I already see a big gap in front, and I just know I need to get up there. I need to jump another gap. So I just keep on rotating, and there's a couple guys going with me, so we just put in an effort to go to the front a little bit more, step by step. 27 minutes into the race, you can see the other riders in front of us. It doesn't seem like a big gap, but believe me, at these speeds, it's a big gap. To close this, you will have to do over 60 kilometers an hour. I stay in this group together with this guy, 108, Roderick. I was riding with him. He was like my big competitor last year in the races, and we both went to the elite category. We are in this group rotating, and really quick I noticed that this group was not fast enough. We were not going to close the gap to the other group. And actually I already told Roderick right here, dude, I'm gonna try and jump this gap. And he gave me the nod. I'm like, okay, he's gonna be down, he's gonna be with me. We kept pulling a lot in this group, and what I expected was true, that the riders in this group, they either didn't want to pull enough, or they weren't strong enough to pull hard enough to close. They were not working with us. So like here I'm just pulling for a really long time. Actually, there was a gap behind me. People didn't follow in the group. I didn't know why, but 1 minute later I see Roderick taking off, and I just jump on his wheel, and we're gonna give it a go together. We're gonna do it with two of us to jump to the next group. This was gonna be a super hard effort, but I knew that when he goes, I'm gonna go with him. That's our only shot. And if we're not gonna make this, when we blow up before we get to the group, our race is over, because when you blow up on a way like this, you're probably not even able to hang on to another group. So we're pushing maximum effort right now, 50 kilometers an hour. We've got a wind from the right. We're leaning into the wind like crazy. You can't imagine how strong this wind was right now, and we're just pushing full gas, working together, taking our turns, and the gap in front of us wasn't getting any smaller. The gap behind us was getting bigger, so we were going faster than the group we were in, but it just seemed like we're not getting closer to the group in front of us. So we're 45 minutes into the race. Right here we're passing two guys that were dropped out of the group in front of us. That says something, that The speed was pretty high probably. Full tailwind. We are accelerating to like 60 kilometers an hour. And like you see, I'm pushing 400-500 watts to stay on this tail. With this tailwind, I'm not really drafting. We're just pushing together. And still the gap was just consistent. We were pushing on and the gap just stayed the same. And right now I was realizing, like, if we're not closing this gap soon, it's over. We're not gonna make it. We'll blow up. I'm gonna go home. I'm not gonna make this race. But we kept on going. We made a really good team together, and we did get closer. Right here, we saw the gap closing up, and we just kept on going. Heart rate is absolutely sky high. 186 on the heartbeat right here, pushing very hard. Right here, another fast rider, one of my green buddies. I shouted him, "Let's go, join us!" And he did accelerate, but I don't think he was able to get on our wheel in time enough. Like I said, on this tailwind, there's no drafting. At the end, 5 minutes later, right here we get into the group. We've been pushing like over, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes, full gas, and even now, there was no draft. There was a big group in front of us, and we still had to push full gas. We're doing 63 kilometers an hour to get even close to this group, and it was taking such a long time. Finally we get into the wheel. I really was looking forward to this moment to catch a breath, but there was no recovery. We just had to keep pushing. We had to keep pushing hard because there was no draft. So I'm still pushing 450, 500 watts to just keep in the wheel of this dude while there's a whole group in front of us. So I just try to stay behind him as long as I can to at least try to spend as least amount of energy I could to catch a breath, because I really needed that. Alright, so this is 10 kilometers up the race. We made it to the group. I was happy we made it. Right now we're going into the wind. Speeds are lower than 30 kilometers an hour. The group is rotating in echelon. I was still really tired. Legs were screaming. I tried to recover by staying behind a little bit, but not too much. So I would take a turn every once in a while and then try to draft a little bit behind. But even this group, although we're chasing, there was still a battle to stay in the echelon. The road was not super wide. There's a couple guys, too many to fit on the road. As you can see right here, people are sort of in behind, figuring out who's gonna take the next turn, and nobody wants to give another guy too much space. Boom, crosswind from the left. Before you know it, you would be in the gutter and riding through the grass. I don't want to be sandbagging then the whole time, but I wanted to recover as well. Doesn't go together really well, but at least I was able to stay with them. Taking a little detour through the grass. When you're in the gutter, when it's on the side and the crosswind is there, it's all about getting into that echelon. Sometimes people ride off the road because they want to keep their position, like Roderick is doing right here. This part in the race, 1.5 hours into the race, super narrow roads. Look at this, it's like a bike lane, and the whole group is right there, so there's no space for everybody next to each other. So people are riding behind each other, taking a lead, taking a pull. It's going into the wind, so it was actually, for me, the first time my heart rate was going down a little bit since the first 15 minutes of the race. I could recover a little bit, which I really needed, and I was happy that this road was narrow and into the wind. As you can see here, we're still rotating on this small road to keep up the speed, and we're approaching the next group in front of us, right there. The group was about similar size, and we're going just a little bit faster. We end up together, all of us together in one group, which later in the race would split apart, come together again, split apart again. The group got too big to fit on the road, so that's why. So what I said, the group was splitting up and coming together. Well, right here, the three of us were sort of a Jasper in between the two groups. I fell off the side of the first group, ending up in the gutter in the grass. Then I had to let a little gap, and I ended up with these guys in between, but at the end we just waited a little bit, joined the next group, and kept on going in the race. Sometimes it's a hard decision because you don't know if the group behind us is gonna slow down or speed up again, but right here we just joined the group again, and we're 2 hours into the race. We are the last riders into the race. Behind us is the follow cars and the judges, so that's never a good sign. You know you're gonna be the last in the race. I went to the team car to get some water. They told me, like, you're doing a good job, stay with this group. There's only 32 riders left in the race out of 160 that started, and just make it and you'll get a prize, because the first 30 riders that finish will be in the prizes. So I was planning on just staying with this group and everything I had left to finish as good as I can. We didn't have too much longer to go, but about 10 minutes later, right here, cars are passing us, which is not a good sign. And 10 minutes later, the broom wagon passed us and we just got taken out of the race.
Nee, hartstikke goed, man. Hier kun je niks aan doen. Dit is een politieverordening. Dat is helemaal nergens op. Ja.
So by direction of the police, we actually got pulled out of the race.
Race is over. Okay, 3 hours, 32 minutes. I lasted for 135 kilometers, and right now race is over. We are taking out of the race by direction of the police, and currently there's only 20 riders left. 20 riders from the 160 that started. Super hard race. From the first minute it broke up into pieces and I was too far from the back. I had to make up for it. I put in a crazy big effort to get back to the front to move up a couple groups. And we were in a group. I was in a group with a couple guys. We were doing a nice steady pace, but the broom wagon passed us and then it's over. So it's getting really cold really quick right now. 3 hours in the race and there's only 32 guys left. I'm still in there. I wasn't feeling strong, but I'm still in the race. Half an hour later, we get taken out. Right now only 20 riders in the race. Crazy. And that's it. I just finished the vlog. I didn't shoot an ending, so right now I'm gonna end it. The race was last Saturday, right now it's Friday. Sunday I went to work and I returned yesterday, so I didn't have time to edit the vlog. I actually edited the whole race footage, which you've probably already seen on the night of the race in the morning before I left. So did that really quick so you guys have some footage. So the race you just saw was another big lesson for me. Don't underestimate a race and don't underestimate the wind. The Dutch mountain, also known as wind, it's super strong. Mother Nature is nothing to play with. Another lesson taken. I'm gonna take this extra experience to the next race, which is tomorrow. Time flies. I race, I work, I get back, edit the vlog, boom, next race. Really busy. Anyway, a couple shout outs. I was wearing this hat in the video, Team Klop of Giro de Kika. Geert and Niels are two guys raising money for kids' cancer. They're doing it by riding 6 days in a row, 15,000 meters of elevation. Go check their website. It's fietsentegenkanker.nl. And if you want to help them out, go check it out. Some packages. The Beam. Of course, spread the word. Corky is a product of a rear view mirror, and they have a Kickstarter. It's a bar cap that you put in the bar, and it has a little flip down mirror so you can see what's going on behind you.
They have a Kickstarter. It's gonna finish soon, so if you want to help them out being able to produce this product, go buy them. This is from my friends at Camp Toa. They keep sending me stuff. This time they send me a bicycle light, a headlight and a tail light. Probably gonna mount this. Nice sound. Probably gonna mount this on the bike of my girlfriend, so we can ride together in the dark. They also send me, I have no idea what this has to do with cycling. But they send me a pair of binoculars. Maybe when I go plane spotting. But I never do that. Thank you, Camp Toa. Now this is a nice package. I made new friends. You guys know that I'm using a cycling computer. I'm using the Garmin 820, which I really don't like. It's just super slow. It's stalling all the time. I hate the thing. And finally somebody heard me and sent me a new computer. The Wahoo Element Bolt. I'm going to use this computer soon. Probably not in my race tomorrow because I don't have time to figure it out, but I'm going to start using this right after. Super cool! Thank you, Wahoo! This is it. Guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment what you want to see in my next race. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. See ya! Super handig. Okay, the light is, I don't know, impossible to mount.